Hey there! In this video, we will be revisiting an old build that I did several months ago. If you haven't seen it yet, the build is generally an all-rounder setup that pretty much explores every aspect of the game's mechanics. In this rebuild, I made a complete redo of the build to better fit the environment of the more challenging patch 1.5 of Cyberpunk 2077. If you want to see this build in action, check out the gameplay video, link in the description. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. Now, starting off with our attributes, from the character creation, you want to put 2 points on intelligence, 3 points on reflexes, and 2 points on technical ability. The reason why we need 2 points on tech is so that we can start the game with the ability to craft rare items. I'll hang around here for a while to show you my sliders if you want to copy my V. Moving on to distribution, first up you want to rush reflexes to 18 so that we can get the perks that we need for our guns. During the early game, we will need to rely on dealing high damage during stealth situations. With perks that improve our handguns damage and rifle damage, we'll be able to ease through the early parts of the game, especially when we're using weapons such as an overture or the buzzsaw. After that, we'll move our intelligence up to 16 as we slowly get and utilize our quickhacks, and at that point, we are halfway through the build. By the second half, we will improve our stealth further by getting our 12 cool. And during the final stretch of the game, we move our body to 16. The last few points will go to tech. For our level 50 attribute setup, as you can see here, we made some adjustments for this rebuild. I brought tech down to 9 from 12, as I show here from the original build. I'll explain in a few minutes. We retain reflexes to 18 and cool to 12. We move the point up our body and then up the intelligence to 16. Thus, the reason why this all-around build is called a runner variant. You'll see in a few. When it comes to perks, the idea is to not specialize in skills, but rather only take what's important. And those are mainly perks that provide significant value when it comes to damage, quick hack efficiency, quality of life, and survivability. We only have enough perk points that we can acquire, so as we play through the game, we need to make use of our skills as much as possible. Each skill, as you level them, will give you perk points in addition to the ones that we get each time we level up. First off, the assault tree. Not much has changed here. We focus entirely on improving our rifle damage. Again, we also didn't take behind cover perks, so we can save perk points. I just want to highlight these 2 perks here, long shot and executioner. The more distance you have between you and the bad guys, the more damage you deal. Other perks to highlight here are Feel the Flow and Shoot, Reload, and Repeat, because reload time reduction is always nice to have. The same concept would also apply to our handgun skill. We will take damage perks, and of course Gunslinger, which will reduce our reload time. Longshot Drop Pop, Wild West, and Rio Bravo are very effective and helpful perks when we do stealth. And stealth is essential because in the early game, we're gonna be doing a lot of it. You may notice that I didn't take perks that would increase crit chances from both the assault tree and the handguns tree. Aside from the reason that we need to conserve perk points, we will mostly be using auto weapons with the potential to have up to 40% crit chance. You'll be hitting those crits more often than you would think. In this instance, we'll just take crit damage perks to further improve our damage output. Another reason is, since patch 1.5, we're introduced to new muzzle breaks. If you would decide to go for ricochets, you'll most likely use the ones that deal the most damage. And if you're stacking crit chances via perks from the assault and handguns trees, those crit chance numbers would be halved anyway. Personally, I think the new muzzle breaks are a better option at this point for this particular build. Again, we are not trying to specialize, so stacking crit chance is not really worth it. Moving on to the intelligence trees, we spend a few points on Breach Protocol and Quickhacking. We only need 2 of the mass vulnerability perks from Breach, the main one, and Resistance. Always take advantage of Breach Protocol and make sure to upload the mass vulnerability demon to debuff the enemies and give yourself further boosts to your damage output. We're not going to take Quickhacks because we will mostly be using Covert, Control, and Ultimate Quickhacks. No combat Quickhacks except for Short Circuit. For our Quickhack cost reduction, we need Total Recall and Totaler Recall from Breach, Mnemonic from Quickhacking. I left out Cloud Cache because it only affects 1 Quickhack after Breach, and I think we have enough Quickhack cost reduction through our demons, perks, and the system reset Quickhack. For RAM efficiency, we won't be going for RAM regen perks, we will be using the Memory Boost Cyberware. Diffusion and Plague are the most important here, with the ability to spread crowd control across multiple enemies, plus the fact that some of the legendary Quickhacks grant an extra spread and only at the cost of a single Quickhack. This will give us the survivability that we need, making your preferred playstyle viable, whether you want to go stealth or guns blazing. Next up, we have Ninjutsu. These are basically our stealth perks. We'll take detection bonuses like Ghost and From the Shadows. With From the Shadows, we'll be able to boost our crit chance by 20%, so that's a pretty big boost. I'll be showing you a little trick that you can do using the Memory Wipe Quickhack. I'll explain later on in the video. Sneaking bonuses such as Silent and Deadly, Crouching Tiger, and Strike from the Shadows grant you more DPS as well as movement speed. Assassin for a little bit more damage, and completing our immunities will take aggressive antitoxins. And lastly, Hidden Dragon, because why not? Cold Blood. Since patch 1.5, I've now considered it as a supplement to your perks across all skills. You'll notice how most of the perks in this tree would give you boosts on different stats. Movement speed, resistances, armor, melee damage, range damage. We even have quick hacks here. But what's essential in this tree is Coagulent, which will keep our cold blood stacks up for as long as we are killing enemies. Despite the huge nerfs in patch 1.5, I still think cold blood is worth spending your perk points on. For the athletics tree, we'll take a few perks here to improve quality of life, multitasker, and divided attention to allow us to do basic game mechanics while sprinting. I think it's a pretty nice addition to our abilities. Also, Marathoner, so we don't have to worry much about stamina. For health boosts and health regen, we're taking Regeneration, Epimorphosis, Invincible, and Tenacious V. Tenacious V is one of the few new perks that were added in patch 1.5, and it works really well, especially alongside a bounce back. We didn't dive too much into health regen perks because, again, we need to save perk points, and we'll have a very effective alternative using the bioplastic blood vessel cyberware. We'll talk about that in a bit. Don't forget about Steel and Chrome, which grants us 20% more melee damage. Speaking of which, Street Brawler. We wouldn't be able to complete this all-around build without some close-range melee brawling. And of course, we are going for the Gorilla Arms. Take blunt melee damage boosts and save points by not taking stamina-related perks. We'll use a Cyberware mod that will serve as an alternative for our stamina conservation. Before we talk about weapons, let's talk about technical ability. As you'll see here, from the original build, we have our tech at 12 points because we wanted to craft at least epic items and at the same time be able to distribute our points evenly to other attributes. A well-balanced build that can do all, no legendary iconic crafting necessary. For this rebuild, I brought technical ability down to 9 for mostly the same reasons but minus the epic crafting. We're going to ditch epic crafting overall. The items that we're gonna be mostly crafting are rare crunches, rare armadillos, bounce backs, and maybe some rare iconic weapons for the early to mid game. We're also going to do a lot of upgrading. Speaking of upgrading, throughout your playthrough, since we're not going to be crafting weapons anymore, we're going to mostly rely on pickups. Whatever suitable guns that you find from various loot sources such as containers, enemies, or job rewards will be your go-to. But if you can't find the right ones, or you're looking to improve your arsenal but they still haven't shown up in loot sources, then you can always head to a vendor and pick the ones that you like. The adjusted economy from patch 1.5 has made it so that some weapon types have reduced prices, so buying guns from vendors is a lot more viable at this point, especially if your build will not rely on crafting for the most part. Now, where does the upgrading part comes in? Well, whatever you picked up that is to your heart's desire, you don't need to get rid of them right away. You can always upgrade them and you can simply buy the components that you need from vendors. Make sure that you upgrade as you level up. The game won't allow you to upgrade your guns past your current level. And then of course, if you find a better one along the way, then take that. The required components for upgrading that new weapon that you picked up will be set to their first upgrade requirements. Now, looting doesn't necessarily mean that whatever guns that you find, you'll immediately pick them up. Gun rewards from gigs and NCPD hustles can roll with an extra modification on top of their stats and mod slots. And since patch 1.5, they added new special properties from each weapon class, namely power, tech, and smart weapons. Again, you may find these weapons with special properties from gigs or NCPD hustles. You have to look for the objective that contains the loot, and before picking them up, save and reload until you roll your preferred special property. For example, I found this pulsar from the gig Goodbye Night City, saved and reloaded until I got the special property that I want, on top of it having 4 mod slots. This overture that I found in Act 2 seems very useful. This legendary Lexington that I found from the gig, A Lack of Empathy. Since we're not crafting iconic weapons, the best alternative that we have is to rely on shopping, pickups, and saves coming for our desired special properties. Not bad at all. Before we finally move on to my recommended guns, my go-to special properties that I always roll are these 2 power abilities. One where it reduces weapon draw time by half, increases damage by 20%, so that's a raw 20% damage increase. And the one where it eliminates vertical recoil. And if you have seen my original build, this ability was once in a weapon mod called Countermass. Of course, Countermass is still in the game, but it now eliminates horizontal recoil. Compared to the original build, I recommended 10 guns that were optimal at the time, mainly because we can deal a lot of damage by crit stacking back then. For this rebuild, I'm bringing my recommendations down to just 7, and mainly using looted and shopped ones. The Masamune is our signature high base damage with a burst fire capability. I often use this for aggressive combat. Just dive in after crippling the enemies with quick hacks and just eliminate everyone. It is also very effective for stealth, just make sure to attach a suppressor. This has always been my go-to assault rifle. You can find ones with special properties along the way, but if you really want to grab one at any time, you may buy a legendary variant from Wellsprings. Lexington is an automatic pistol that is just perfect for the handguns perk, Attritional Fire. We'll use this during aggressive situations as well, the same way we use the Masamune. Breach, cripple, and then fire. You may find legendary Lexingtons during gigs. Make sure you save, reload until you find your preferred special property. but otherwise you can just grab one from the Aldecaldos. Overture is still the best stealth weapon in the game, with its very high base damage. It is still effective despite the crit nerfs in patch 1.5. If you attach a silencer with a 2.5 damage multiplier combined with a lot of damage boosting perks in Cyberware, you can easily dispatch enemies during stealth. You can find epic variants with a special property, in which case here, I got one with a 20% damage boost. But otherwise, you may buy a legendary version in Arroyo. Pulsar has a very high fire rate with decent damage. I really like using this one from time to time. The high fire rate makes it so that you can crit often despite having low crit chances, and if you have the legendary short circuit quick hack, you can constantly activate its passive, making it one of the better choices for this build. I found mine from a gig and I have it with an eliminate vertical recoil mod. If you feel like using a classic automatic rifle, but also have high base damage, then an Ajax may well be the right fit for you. You can find a lot of it from enemies along the way, but you may also grab one with a special property. I have this legendary Ajax with an eliminate vertical recoil mod. Now, one of the two weapons that are new to the loadout is the Defender. I included this one just for fun. It is an automatic gun with a huge mag, and it just really fits the whole vibe of this character. Like with the Pulsar, the high fire rate also synergizes with a short circuit passive, so we can just mow down anyone easily with a big ass gun. It also gives us a few extra points with the Annihilation tree for us to use to our liking. Take note that you don't need to take any perks from the Annihilation tree, as the short circuit passive has us covered when it comes to damage. Of course, you need to grab a legendary variant from Kabuki. Last one is a Tectonica Grad. I love saying that.
A Tectonica Grad. You saw it in action already.
I simply use this for the long range power and the piercing capability. We'll be using a lot of quick hacks, and one of the important ones is the ping quick hack. With the ping quick hack, we'll be seeing enemy outlines through the walls, and what better way to take advantage of that other than shooting them with a high caliber sniper behind a wall. You may simply find ones from loot sources. I found this one with a special property, but ultimately, I ended up getting a legendary variant from Arroyo. Good stuff. When it comes to weapon mod, I always prefer Crunch. You may go for the Penetrator if you want to have more crit chances, especially on your automatic weapons. Make sure you level up your crafting skill to 9 so that you can at least craft them in rare quality. For the muzzle brakes, you can go about this in two ways, whatever you prefer. If you want to just simply shoot the bad guys, be accurate as much as possible, going for headshots as much as you can attach an Aswang for rifles and Liger for the pistols. These muzzle brakes flat out give a certain amount of damage based on quality. Simple as that. Personally, I prefer shooting people in the face, so I usually go with these ones. But if you prefer a less point and shoot kind of playstyle, you may go for a Strigoi or a Tsar for rifles and Barbaroga for pistols. These muzzle brakes give the highest amount of ricochet damage, but the trade-off is that it halves the crit chance of the gun it's attached to. What you only need to do is to aim at the floor in the direction of the enemies so that you can deal ricochet hits. It will mostly hit the torso area, so trying to score headshots via ricochet will most likely be difficult, although not impossible. So accurate or ricochet, either way, both shooting styles will work just fine. And then of course, an Electo for stealth weapons. For clothing, I have always recommended buying from vendors or seeking them out in the open world via hidden gems. Nothing has changed here except the clothing mods. Mod slots have been significantly reduced in patch 1.5, so relying on armor for survivability isn't going to cut it anymore, especially on very hard difficulty. But thankfully, we have quick hacks, health regen, and stealth to solve that problem. Throughout your playthrough, you will most likely pick up an armadillo crafting spec. Since patch 1.5, there's no specific location to get one in Act 1 anymore, so make sure you keep an eye out on loot sources. When you finally got yourself one, make sure to insert them on all mod slots, except the face clothing, where you will save this slot for a Deadeye to give yourself a bit of a damage boost. You may also go for a Fortuna if you prefer getting more crit chance. Moving on to Cyberwares, when it comes to damage boost, you may want to get a Limbic System Enhancement and a Visual Cortex support. Both improve our crit capabilities. Alternatively, you may get rid of either one and get yourself a Heal on Kill if you prefer to go for survivability. Adding more to our damage is a Ballistic Coprocessor. Make sure to get the legendary variant at Kabuki. Memory boost for RAM efficiency. This is why we didn't get those RAM region perks, even though we're going to be doing a lot of quick hacking. But I think this cyberware alone is enough for us to keep our quick hack uptime. Speaking of survivability, one cyberware that we weren't able to get from the previous build is the second heart. Now we can install one and get a second life when we zero. Very effective, especially when things don't really go your way. Now, another cyberware that can fully get your health back up is the bioplastic blood vessels. This one will heal you to full health almost instantly, but the catch is, it only works outside of combat, but we can work around that. Remember a while ago when I said we have an alternative to health regen using the cyberware? Now we only need to have the epimorphosis perk so that we can regen up to 100% health and the memory wipe quick hack. It's important to have this quick hack at epic quality, or else it won't really work. Now the simple interaction is to just use memory wipe during combat out of sight, and the combat status will take you out of it, and just like that, whenever you find yourself at low health, apply the quick hack to get yourself out of combat and you'll instantly heal up to full health. With all the cooldown reduction that we have with our preferred cyber deck plus the quick hacking and the cold blood perks that we're using, we can always have memory wipe up at a reliable time. And then of course, an epic bioconductor because it's always nice to have cooldown reduction. Optical camo. It's obviously very effective for stealth, but it's also suitable for aggressive combat because it gives you a decent amount of time to make your enemies shoot blindly, thus giving you protection while you eliminate them one by one. It's also another way to get yourself out of harm's way when you need to take a breather, e.g. our little memory wipe trick that I discussed earlier. Kerenzikov, just to include time dilation to our set of abilities. For our immunities, you need to get an inductor and the fireproof coating. Now just take the aggressive antitoxins perk from ninjutsu and you're pretty much set against any type of damage. For our Kiroshi mods, we'll take the usual set, but with an exception. So we have trajectory analysis for more headshot damage, weak spot detection for more crit, threat analysis for a small boost to mitigation chance. Of course, for our melee damage, we get legendary gorilla arms. Make sure to grab a legendary micro rotors at Kabuki. We're gonna want to prefer attack speed over melee damage boost cyberwares like the dense marrow or the micro vibration generator. Since we're only going to be using the one melee weapon that we have, and given that it is kind of slow, I just think that it's better to have more attack speed with this build. For the gorilla mods, any element or damage type will do. My personal preference is thermal to have a bit of variety of damage types since melee damage will also trigger short circuit whenever I deal critical hits. For the second slot, you can either go for a Reneyu or a black market battery. Obviously, if you want more damage, then insert the black market battery. Personally, I went for Reneyu because we didn't really take any stamina related perks from the street brawler tree. And having to reset my stamina back to full every time I eliminate an enemy means I can just go on a brawling mayhem however long I want to. And lastly, I went for the health boost sensory amplifier. You can find one in Japantown. Defensive cyberwares, we grabbed the Neofiber, Kata Resist, Subdermal Armor, and a Synaptic Signal Optimizer. Some good boosts for our armor, resistances, health, and mitigation to further improve survivability. Finally, let's talk about the cyber deck. We will be using the Tetratronic Rippler Mark IV mainly because of the upload time and the quick hack cooldown reduction. The ultimate quick hack bonuses here are good touches as well. For the most part, we'll be taking advantage of covert and control quick hacks. Now for this build, it's important to get the legendary versions of these quick hacks, save for a few of them. The special passive abilities that these legendary quick hacks provide will further give us the edge in terms of damage output, survivability, and stealth capabilities. Ping may simply be seen as your typical wall hack, but casting a ping into a network is still considered a quick hack applied to a target, or in most cases, targets. So that means any perks or quick hacks that say target affected by a quick hack or under the effect of any quick hack are automatically set to activate at any time. The best thing here is that it only costs at least a single RAM but affects an entire network of enemies. But keep in mind though that once you cast Ping with the Quick Hack passives, enemies will automatically raise their alert level, making them unpredictable in stealth situations. The Memory Wipe Quick Hack is one of my favorites because it serves as a stealth reset, though it has a number of uses as well. Number 1, as I said, when you screwed up stealth during a job, you can always use this quick hack to immediately take you out of detection. Simple as that. Number 2, I always consider this as a mini stun. Once you cast it, it will cause your enemies to be incapacitated for a few seconds, giving you the chance to either run away or dispatch them as quickly as you can. Number 3, going back to our health regen trick with the bioplastic blood vessels a while ago, we'll also be able to take advantage of this little perk called From the Shadows. Once we enter combat and with constant use of this quick hack, we'll always keep that 20% gain to our crit chance from time to time. Make sure to get the epic version of this quick hack. Cripple movement is the bread and butter of this build, as you will be using this quick hack a lot. 1, because you need to subdue your foes in place so you can easily kill them, and 2, so they can't attack you, adding that layer of protection. This is the survivability that we get from quick hacking. Keep the enemies in check and stop them from attacking you so that you can avoid getting a lot of damage. A legendary short circuit adds more meat to your damage output. The special passive ability of this quick hack will trigger an electric burst whenever you deal critical hits from either of your guns or melee damage. As soon as you start Act 2, you should be able to acquire one immediately. Just head to any access points on City Center or Haywood and try to get it via save reloading. The legendary Sonic Shock is probably the best stealth quick hack in the game. We're not really going to use this actively, but what we're after here is its passive ability. Any target affected by a quick hack like a ping or a cripple movement will automatically be under the effect of this quick hack. And when that happens, any of your targets will keep them from alerting their squad, significantly making stealth a lot easier. Legendary Reboot Optics. This quick hack is very effective in stealth in tandem with Sonic Shock. You may still use this in combat situations, but it won't be useful as when you use this in stealth. The demon included in its passive will automatically cast a sight jammer before they can detect you, so make sure to activate it during breach. And finally, a legendary system reset to complete my quick hack recommendations. This ultimate quick hack will instantly neutralize up to 2 enemies, and the passive ability will further improve your quick hack efficiency, so be sure to grab this one. Now, I made a Google Sheet that lists the items that are found in this build. If you're not sure where to find the weapons, clothing, cyberware, or mods, make sure to check it out. It also includes loot locations, so you would know where to find certain weapons that can potentially spawn with special properties. Starting off the game can be quite tricky since patch 1.5. Previously, we only needed to stack armor via perks and crafting. This time around, you need to be a little more strategic. So here are some quick tips for the early game. Make sure to take these perks first, True Craftsman, to be able to craft some rare weapons like the Buzzsaw, Silent and Deadly to improve stealth, Longshot, Drop Pop, and Wild West for your handguns, Executioner, and Longshot for your rifles, both of the mass vulnerabilities to debuff the bad guys with Breach. Make sure to rush your reflexes to 18 so that you can improve your gun damage early on. For weapons, prioritize spending your money on crafting specs. Buy an Overture crafting spec from vendors, craft one, and attach a silencer. This will serve as your stealth weapon in the early game. Buy a Pulsar crafting spec if stealth doesn't go your way. A reliable SMG might come in handy until you find a rare spec for a Buzzsaw. Make sure to get this one, it's one of the best weapons in the early game. Fenrir, one of the best weapons in the early game. You can easily get this one from the side job Losing My Religion. Another reliable rifle that you can find is this Ajax from this NCPD hustle. For this one, you can try rolling for a good special property by saving and reloading. In this part of the game, quick hacks aren't going to be your thing yet until you start pumping points into intelligence. So for now, a flashbang would be quite handy in combat situations. You can find a spec in this NCPD hustle. Some mods that are useful that you can get early are the Super Insulator and the Cool It. You may get these from these vendors. Since you won't be able to have immunities at this part of the game yet, these mods are gonna have to do. Believe me when I say that you need these immunities because enemies dealing damage over time can be quite annoying. Another mod that you can get early on is a Deadeye, so make sure you grab one from this vendor. The one downside in acquiring these mods is that you need to be at Street Cred 17 for these items to show up in vendors. For cyberwares, you may grab a Stephenson Mark II to give yourself a little edge in stealth situations. You can use this to distract, whistle, ping, deactivate devices, etc. Even though we're not specializing in quick hacks yet, some quick hacks and some of these can be quite useful. Save up more Euro dollars and prioritize getting a legendary subdermal armor and an optical camo. These cyberwares will definitely make your life easier. In terms of completing jobs in Watson, your best bet is to use trial and error stealth. Make use of your silence overture, your covert quick hacks like the reboot optics or a whistle, deactivate cameras or distract your targets. If things go sideways, you can always reload from a safe point, or if you're confident, fight the bad guys head on. Regarding access points, I'd like to advise you to not hack into these for the reason that you might encounter a very problematic bug that would stop you from getting legendary quick hacks later in the game. On a related note, during the gig last login, make sure to grab the data bank here, then crack it. Prioritize on solving the 4th sequence to unlock the shard. Continuing on access points, be sure to only hack the ones that have an intelligence requirement of 9 and above. Not only these access points will give you the chance to acquire legendary quick hacks, but also, possibly, to avoid getting the bug. Good luck! As soon as you exit the first act, the first thing that you might want to do is to head to Delamain. Nearby, you will find a clubhouse called Dicky Twister. There is a balcony by the side, you can double jump to get there, or if you can't, you can parkour around the back. There is an access point that doesn't have an intelligence check. Make sure to save first and then breach. Complete the 3rd sequence, always the 3rd sequence, check your quick hacks, and see if you get either a legendary short circuit or a legendary sonic shock. If not, reload back before the breach. Do this until you get either one of the 2 quick hacks. After getting your preferred quick hack, you may get the other one from 7th Hell. Set a waypoint at the downtown clothing store. Right here, you will find the club there nearby. This is where the gig An Inconvenient Killer takes place. Now just head inside and find the bathroom upstairs. There should be a vending machine there. Again, save before breaching, breach the access point, solve the 3rd sequence, and check. Now you already have most of the quick hacks that you need except for cripple movement. You may buy at least an epic one from quick hack vendors until you find a legendary variant. At some point in the game, you'll have enough money to get yourself a legendary Masamune and a legendary Gorod, so be sure to make use of these weapons throughout your playthrough. During the mission Shoot to Thrill, make sure you win the shooting contest to get the reward from Wilson. It will be a legendary Lexington that can potentially roll with a special property. You may save your game right before Wilson gives you your Lexington, and from there, just reload back to that point until you get your desired stats. And that is pretty much it. A complete overhaul to my all-around build. Lots of changes and new tips. Hope you guys liked it. And thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already, subscribe to my channel to stay tuned for more Cyberpunk 2077 builds. You may also check out my other builds. I have another one coming up and I'm really excited to share it with you. There's a lot more to see for this build, so I'm leaving you with the build summary, and of course, don't fear the Reaper. See you on the next one.
2023年のパーティーの続きだ。
持ち込みが禁止されています。良い一日をお過ごしください。
プラントを守れ。
気をつけろ、ここは連中のホームだ。襲撃時の対応は予習済みのはず。昔のタワーを吹き飛ばした時、研究フロアは地下にあった。エレベーターを探せ。くそ、アクセストークンがいる。生きて帰れると思うなよ。探すんだ。そいつがアクセストークンを持ってる。気をつけろ。
応戦する。なんだこれ、バックされてるぞ。
今んとこ順調だな。
攻撃を受けた。
アクセストークンよ。これでエレベーターが動くはず。
攻撃を開始する。殺してやる。バックスタックを読むまでもない。周りに位置につけ。デーモンを使ってるぞ。止めてくれ。お願いだ。気をつけろ。ハッカーだ。プラントを守れ。
パッと見スロットは見当たらない。
メインフレームはおそらく床下ね。問題はアクセス方法か。
たく、まるでアドベンチャーゲームだな。
続けろ。敵周辺を制圧しろ。長い手を使え。応戦する。
を発揮してくれるといいけど。
全能の神よ、我が力のもとにひれ伏せ。